my future. Ladies and gentlemen, as Barago Diop said, the dead are not dead, yes. Dr. Thomas Isidore Sankara and his 12 companions did not die. They are in the mosque in front of you, which is a symbol of self-sacrifice, of determination, of dignity, courage, and resistance. Ladies and gentlemen, it's May 17, 2025. Remains one highly historical day and full of symbols, which will remain forever in the individual and collective memory of that, and those who love freedom, of dignity, of justice, and peace. Dr. Thomas Sankara and his companions have finally one worthy of his name. Tonight we celebrate their memory and make a firm commitment to contribute to the backup, to the preservation, and the promotion of the political heritage of Father of the August Revolution, Mil-NEU. Eminent personality, ladies and gentlemen, friends of Burkina Faso, welcome to your home in the land of suffering men. Introduction to Ouagadougou, Romania. At this inauguration ceremony of the Thomas Sankara Mausoleum and his 12 companions, excellence during the Prime Minister. This afternoon's program includes the word of happiness from Mr. Chairman of the Delegation, Special Commune of Ouagadougou. Following Morris, since it is about him that it is about, we will mention the Chairman of the Committee, Thomas Sankara International Memorial, the official inauguration speech of His Excellency Dr. Traoré, President of Faso, Head of State, will be pronounced by its African Excellence, Rintelbus Jean Emmanuel Ouagadougou, First Minister, Head of Government. All these speeches will be synthesized in English. Following the translator, we will have the salvos of honor, the 21 shots of cannon, reading the street baptism orders, followed by the delivery of the orders and street signs to the families of the victims, followed, ladies and gentlemen, of the ribbon cutting by His Excellency Mr. Prime Minister, Head of Government representing Son Excellencies the President facing the Head of State, without his side, his counterparts Prime Minister here, the deposit of the sheath, the recollection, the guided tour, the signature of the Book of Condolences, the family photo, and interviews. Ladies and gentlemen, I would like to point out that we are live on the synchronized network of the media group leading the radio broadcasting, television of Burkina, the RTB. Good evening to all, good evening to all. Good ceremony to each, and to each of you, and without further delay receiving, for the word of celebration of the commune of Ouagadougou, Morris Connick College. Excellence during the Prime Minister, representing his excellent colleague, the President, the Head of State. Excellence during the young First Minister, Head of the Governments of the Republic, Sisters of Senegal and Chad, Mr. Minister of State, Minister of the Interior, Public Safety, and the Administration of the Territory, representing the President of the Republic of Niger. Publishes the Vice President of the Transitional Legislative Assembly, representing His Excellent during the President of the Assembly. Transitional Legislation. Ladies and gentlemen, Association Presidents, ladies and gentlemen of the government, Mr. Minister of Sisters of Mali, of Niger, Senegal, of the Frame, and Mauritania, Mr. Coordinator of the Thomas Sankara Memorial Project, ladies and gentlemen, family members of President Thomas Sankara and his 12 companions, ladies and gentlemen, the heads of foreign delegations, distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen, it is with one immense joy and one deep emotion that I speak on this historic day, on behalf of the special delegation and my own name, to wish you a cordial welcome to Ouagadougou, capital of our dear homeland, the Burkina Faso, your numerous and warm presence is proof that the collective memory is alive, and that history continues to bring us together, that it be permitted to greet, particularly the presence of our distinguished guests from here and elsewhere, for the time being circumstance. Yes, distinguished guests from friendly countries, your presence honors us. I invite you to make the most of your stay in Ouagadougou, city of hostility, culture, and resilience. That this ceremony is also an opportunity for you to discover, or to human wealth, artistic and tourist activities of our capital city, excellence during the First Minister of State, head of government, distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen, we have gathered here today to commemorate the mausoleum of Thomas Sankara and his companions, one high place of memory, erected to the glory of those who sacrificed their lives for ideas of justice, of dignity, sovereignty, and progress. This monument is much more than a monument. It is one symbol. It embodies the spirit of the revolution. It recalls the commitment, unwavering President Thomas Sankara and his companions, and calls on us to pursue their fight for one Burkina Faso and standing. Excellence during the First Minister of the rest. What is the comrade Traoré and his government? Savedi realized every day that God makes this project wanted by the supported state, by the living forces of the nation, and carried by the popular will, finds its full meaning today. That of doing justice to the memory, to educate generations and promote values. Strong patriotism in this respect. I make one call, medical, to the entire population of Ouagadougou and to the whole Burkina people, to appropriate this place to make it one space of recollection, of meditation, but also one place of transmission of our history and our struggles, to be ground, live to the rhythm of memory, but also to the rhythm of life, exchanges of cultural shares and citizens. On this day, May 17th, 2025, we don't just cut one ribbon. Under the initiative and guidance of our President, Comrade Traoré, we open the chapter on the path of loyalty to those who yesterday sowed hope with courage, and it's at the cost of their lives. Long live Burkina Faso. Long live the friendship between peoples, country, or death. We will overcome. Ladies and gentlemen, you just listened to Mr. Maurice Kana. I remind that he is the High Commissioner of the Province of Ouagadougou, President of the Special Delegation of the Commune of Ouagadougou. Still in the series of allowances we will receive at our Nugget retired Colonel Major Daudet Raret, President of the Thomas Sankara International Memorial Committee. Comrade, colonialism, neoism, the stateless, honor, power, sovereignty, the fatherland, or death. Thank you, comrade. Excellent during the Prime Minister, head of government, representing His Excellence Mr. President of Faso, head of state, excellence during the Prime Minister, governments of the republics, sisters of Senegal and Chad, Mr. Minister of State, Minister of the Interior, of Public Security and Territorial Administration, representing the President of the Republic of Niger. Select the ministers representing the republics of Ghana and Mali. Choose the first Vice President of the Transitional Legislative Assembly, representing Its Excellence, Mr. President of the Assembly, Transitional Legislation, Ministers of the Sister Republics of Mali, Niger, Senegal, Chad, and Mauritania, ladies and gentlemen of the President's family, Sankara and his 12 companions, ladies and gentlemen, heads of foreign delegation, distinguished guests, valiant fighters of the struggle for independent sovereignty, the prosperity of Africa, ladies and gentlemen, I speak up on behalf of the Thomas Sankara Memorial International Committee to welcome you and greet your augustus presence in these places, full of history and intense emotions. This ceremony is one significant step in our mission to promote and perpetuate the memory and videos of the award-winning hero of our nation. I named Dr. Thomas Sankara. Excellent during the Prime Minister, representing the head of state, President Traoré. After allowing the of Thomas Sankara and his 12 companions on his scene, where they were brutally murdered in 15 tents, that create the tragedies of the peoples. A mise en place, one major government project, that makes the memorial a tangible reality. Here we are already, before one mosaic that rises proudly to the sky, under the inspiration of the architect Biboda Francis Queret, are world-renowned and respected. By driving the merit recognition dynamic and the values of this exceptional man who has been President Thomas Sankara, Son Excellence Ibrahim Traoré, has given wings to the ambitions of our nation. Of heroes in the hearts, he made Thomas Sankara one hero in spirits, one hero of the nation. We are sure of it. Sankara and his companions, of the fights that His Excellence Traoré, followed by all one people, leads on many fronts, especially for the peoples of the alliance, of the states of Israel, and brotherly and friendly countries, attached to their sovereignty. In a complex national and international context, by the terrorism given birth to by, and neoism, served by their local valley and living room slaves are. Its Excellence continues to advance. Tell His Excellence that we see that he is moving forward despite the obstacles. It advances despite the lies. It advances despite the betrayals, but it is also advancing because it has popular support and the justice of our struggle. We will overcome. He advances because he leads one fight for the common good, for the general interest, for the sovereignty of our nations. His Excellency Traoré is the soldier in the first line to defend our legitimate aspirations. The people have understood it, who around the world declare their support for his action, as evidenced by the Day of Solidarity with Traoré, the Burkina Faso, last 30/04. Should we remind you? 15 tents du Mauvais du. While the captain replaces Traoré, had just taken responsibility to turn things around and lead our country to a better port. We asked for it, and he didn't hesitate to come to the memorial right here to receive from the hands of our late president, the Colonel Pierre Ouagadougou, the torch of democratic and popular revolution that we proposed to him. He accepted this gesture. That was heavy, but we understood then that he was the heir who could take charge and continue the race, triumphant towards the accomplishment of our reign. Certainly Thomas Sankara and his 12 companions will now rest in peace in these places of memory, with dignity, for posterity, and will inspire, undoubtedly, Africans and citizens of the world. Sankara said, I quote, "I wish to be kept from me the memory of a man who has been useful to all, and rehabilitating it. His Excellence gave him back his word. And we have the certainty that thousands, even 1.000 visitors around the world, collect yourself to recharge your batteries and be inspired by your action. Listen to him speak to their hearts, to their conscience. In these places, and exhausted the strength to hope and move forward. That's why the International Committee of the Thomas Sankara Memorial launches one vibrant call to all, so that in all regions of all continents, at the level of patriotic governments, at the level of Roman citizens, that support for the actions of the OUS is always effective and even more determined, that this support is intensifying to accompany the resolute march of independent Africa, united in that we hope for with all our wishes. Our call also goes to men and women, youth and seniors, so that everyone mobilizes everywhere to contribute to the realization of other infrastructures that will be erected here, to make a memorial dedicated to Thomas Sankara, one high meeting place for generations, one bridge between peoples, and one world heritage that will last through the centuries. This is the place for us, Excellence, during the Prime Minister, to reiterate our thanks. Because you yourself, you have committed yourselves without fail in the realization of this memorial, with dedication to your teams. You have worked, and this is what allows this mausoleum is reality today. We thank you very much. We thank the minister, the ministers in charge of finance culture, and the whole government. Thank you to the chairman of the special delegation of the commune of Ouagadougou, to the architect Francis de Beto Quirin, Ayan Ousmane Diallo of the company, PMS, who built this mausoleum, to listen faithful Temini Desir, Secretary General of the Ministry of Communication, the President of the National Organization Commission, of this beautiful ceremony. We thank Ayan Lampo, who is in the coal thicket, and who has the burden, the Memorial Infrastructure Construction Project, Isidore Newell Thomas Sankara and his collaborators, thanks to National Organizing Committee, thanks to the families. Thank you very special to the family of our late godfather Rollins. Was our godfather the godfather of the Thomas Sankara International Memorial Committee? Yes, aviation captain John Jerry Rawlings was faithful. He was faithful to friendship. It's not like someone. Thanks to companions of the revolution, who have allowed by their courage and sacrifice the permanence of the common ideal, as well as the member of the sense, both internally and internationally, who at the moment of Professor Mamadou Coulibaly, by Mrs. Natalie Yam of Maldonge Monimbe, by Balufu Bakuba Kanda Kadi and Francois Frigette. I ask you to applaud them all. They came from far away to participate. And they fight every day for Africa that moves and wins. Thanks to all those who made the trip of Ouagadougou to honor Thomas Sankara and support Traoré and Burkina Faso. Thank you to the defense and security forces, to volunteers for the defense of the fatherland, and to and all revolutionary organizations and charisma with which we collaborate. Thank you all, Your Excellent Mr. Prime Minister. Last thank you. Once again, His Excellence Mr. President of Faso. He launched the Progressive People's Revolution. Be assured of our commitment and support. Victory is inevitable, country or death.
Mesdames, Messieurs, c'était le colonel-major à la retraite Daouda Traoré,
Chairman of the Committee, International Thomas Sankara Memorial. Ladies and gentlemen, for perfect the listening link between those who speak French and English, I will receive Raymond Elda Kwama for one summary of the two speeches in English. His Excellency the Prime Minister Chief of Government, representing His Excellency Captain Ibrahim Traoré, President of Faso Head of State, honorable members of government, distinguished personalities, honorable families of Thomas Sankara and his 12 companions. Ladies and gentlemen, it's an honor to stand with you this afternoon on this very special day of May the 17th, 2025, for the official inaugural ceremony given to the Thomas Sankara and his 12 companions mausoleum here at the Thomas Sankara Memorial. Ma plaisir est sum up in a few words, the first two speeches delivered at the introduction of the ceremony. In fact, we open up enthusiastically with the welcoming address of Mr. Maurice Kanate, Commissioner of Ouagadougou Province, Chairman of the Special Delegation of Ouagadougou. He indicated that it is with one great pleasure and one emotion that he has spoken out about this historic day on behalf of this special delegation, and on his own behalf to welcome all of you to Ouagadougou, capital of our beloved homeland, Burkina Faso. For him, your warm and numerous presence is a proof that our collective memory is alive and that history continues to bring us together. We are gathered here today to inaugurate the mausoleum of Thomas Sankara and his companions, a memorial to those who sacrificed their lives for the ideals of justice, dignity, sovereignty, and progress. He insisted that this mausoleum is much more than a moment. It's a symbol. It embodies the spirit of the August 1983 revolution. It reminds all of us of the unshakable commitment of President Thomas Sankara and his 12 companions who fell on October the 15th, 1987, and it calls on all of us to pursue the dream of a Burkina with integrity and standing. This project, supported by the nation's driving forces and carried by the will of the people, today finds its full meaning, that of doing justice to memory, educating generations and promoting strong patriotic values. And disrespect to solemnly appeal to all of the inhabitants of Ouagadougou and to all the people of Burkina Faso and all visitors to make this place their own, to make it a place for meditation and reflection, but also a place for passing on our history and on our struggles. Oni wished on one hand that this mausoleum will live to the rhythm of memory, but also to the rhythm of life, exchanges, and cultural and civic sharing. On the other hand, he wishes that this ceremony will also be an opportunity for you to discover, or to rediscover, the human, artistic, and historical riches of our capital. Ladies and gentlemen, after this engaging and inspiring speech of Mr. Konate, we welcome on stage the President of Thomas Sankara Memorial International Committee, retired Colonel Major Dada Traoré. He took the floor on behalf of the International Committee to welcome all the attendees and to salute the presence of their excellencies in this place, charged with history and intense emotions. For him, this ceremony is one significant step in their mission to promote and perpetuate the memory and ideals of our nation. Ed hero, Dr. Thomas Sankara, having allowed Thomas Sankara and his 12 companions to be buried on the very spot where they were savagely murdered on October 15, 1987, has made this great memorial project a tangible reality. And effectively, here we are in front of one mausoleum that stands proudly at the events that it is likely that he wanted to, that it is the work of the architect. Gabidou Francis Choir are well known and respected. Defeats, grateful for their merits. Recognizing the merits or value and values of this exceptional man, President Sankara, means also giving wings to the ambitions of the nations. International context made more complex by terrorism, spawned by imperialism and neo-colonialism, served by their local and henchmen and arms trade slaves. His Excellency, the President of Faso Head of State, keep forging ahead. Despite the obstacles, despite the lies, despite the betrayals, strong and popular support, convinced and determined to ensure the opinions of all citizens, based on the general interest, the common good, and shared responsibility. He recalled the date of the February 15, 2022, when His Excellency the President of Faso State had just taken up his responsibilities to turn Burkina Faso's fortune around, and didn't hesitate to come here to the memorial to receive the torch of the people's democratic revolution from the ends of the late President Pierre. We were all convinced at the time that he, while the heir of the relay, we could take over and continue the triumphant race towards the horizon of our happiness. From now on, certainly, Thomas Sankara and his 12 companions will henceforth rest in these places of remembrance, in dignity for prosperity, which will undoubtedly inspire Africans and citizens of the world. I thank you all for your kind attention. Thank you very much, Elda. Kwama, ladies and gentlemen, listeners and viewers of the RTB, the time has come for us to receive for the official speech of inauguration of His Excellency Dr. Traoré, President of Faso, Head of State, pronounced by Its Excellence Ramtalba Jean Emmanuel Ouagadougou, First Minister, Head of Government. Comrade, I have the immense honor to wear this afternoon solemn speech to Son Excellence Captain Traoré at this solemn inauguration ceremony of the mausoleum in honor to Dr. Thomas Sankara and his companions. But before sacrificing to this pleasant duty, I wish we could have one pious thought at the place of all our fighting forces, our heroes who at the very moment when this ceremony is held are on several fronts in intense fighting. And I can assure you that the enemy on all these fronts is biting the dust. Then please, tonight I'm not going to ask us to observe 1 minute to silence, but let's stand up for one standing ovation of 1 minute. I thank you. Comrade, I quote, His Excellency Captain Traoré, this May 17th, 2025. History reminds us that there has been that 42 years old to the day, May 17 0-N EUF-Cent-Q imperialist and USBINGT, TOI, orchestrated the arrest of Comrade Thomas Sankara, then Prime Minister. The days that followed, the anti-imperialist youth mobilized to say no to this package. The seed of the democratic and popular revolution had just been sown. 2 weeks after, Dr. Thomas Sankara will be released under popular pressure. And 3 months later, of this fertile soil fed by deep aspiration of the people to freedom will germinate the revolution. This May 17th 2025 is therefore one symbol, that of the refusal of the imperialist domination, of neoism and their gestures that are war and terrorism. It is also the symbol of the determination of our people to assume its destiny before history, to build one free and sovereign nation. This ideal was carried by our foreigners in the PDR, the Democratic and Popular Revolution, led by Comrade Thomas Sankara. Today we are carrying the same torch of anti-imperialist struggle with the Popular Progressive Revolution. With the 17th of May, we honor one duty of remembrance through the inauguration of the mausoleum, dedicated to President Thomas Sankara and his companions in struggle, fought for the beloved homeland. Under the bullets, assassins from the local valleys of and parlor Migros fall for the ideal of dignity, of freedom, integrity, and sovereignty. Fall but forever alive in our hearts and in our consciences. The choice of this date is not one fact of chance. The revolution, August mil-neuf-cent had to close the popular demonstration anti-imperialist as a result to the May 17th plot mil-neuf-cent designed to stem the rising tide progressive and revolutionary forces in order to perpetuate the oppression and imperialist domination over our people. Today, the 17th of May, International always feeds the same fatal drawing. In front of him, we stand, commit to impacting profound transformations, economic and social, for the good of our populations, determine the establishment of social justice, to fight for dignity, the freedom and sovereignty of Burkina Faso, of the states of the Confederation Eyes, and African peoples. Dear comrades, distinguished guests, this mosaic that we will display today on the free land of Burkina Faso, on the excitedness of the cartel board, in charge of the history of a tragedy experienced by our peoples, is not a simple building. It is one place of memory that reminds the conscience, Burkinabe collective, of the freedom fighters, and of all men in love with peace and social justice. The sacrifice of President Thomas Sankara and his companions. This mausolea is also the testimony of a persecuted integrity, but still alive. It is the indelible jump, the recognition of a people in struggle, the materialization of a living memory, whose resilience to the wear and tear of time is unshakable. We are not gathered this May 17th out of nor animated by the resentment of a painful past. What brings us together today? Like one man? It is rather the oath to commit ourselves with determination, preserve achievements, and continue the historic, patriotic work of our heroes for one total liberation of our people, of the day of a neoism. Comrade, I would like to pay one deserved tribute to the families of our martyrs, for their dignity, their patience and perseverance. You have carried the weight of history without flinching, without ever weakening, and at this place where our heroes rest, I would like to assure you on behalf of the whole nation of our deep respect. In their memory and in view of the supreme sacrifice made for the dignity of our people, I have decided to baptize streets in the name of everyone. Of the 12 companions who fell with the lead, Thomas Sankara. More than a duty to remember, the inscription of these names in the toponymy of our capital is defined, like one real school, to teach current generations and future and to be shared to visitors from here and elsewhere, integrity and dignity values of civility and patriotism, defended by our martyrs who constitute today the compass of our popular progressive revolution. Dear comrades, this mosaic marks the beginning of a great project, that of the Thomas Sankara Memorial, which will be realized on one space of about 14 hectares with many others. Infrastructure. The Thomas Sankara Memorial is designed not only as a place of remembrance, but also as a space for reflection, of education, the inspiration and action. It is intended to keep on the flame of the revolution and remind the world the fight of Captain Thomas Sankara to break the chains of slavery and domination, imperialist and get out of oppression. This project is Pan-African and popular because Sankara himself was one world-class unit. So I invite everyone to bring a stone to this memorial. I would be sorry not to make one special mention to the women and men who have held the ISO challenge, the torch of revolution despite the storms and various adversities. Congratulations to the Thomas Memorial International Committee, Sankara the CMTS. Despite the difficulties, responses to the revolutionary commitment, you have remained worthy and active to perpetuate the ideal of the father of the revolution. All through the CMTS, I commend the determination of the veteran companions. Stay true to the cause of civil society organizations and all Pan-Africanist patriot activists. From here and there, I will not ignore the efforts, tireless and immeasurable comrades of the different countries throughout the world who contribute every day to the culmination of the victorious struggle of the people. Burkina Faso. I welcome the coordination of the infrastructure construction project of the new Isidore Thomas Sankara Memorial, architects, engineers and workers, artists and volunteers, and the builders of memory that have helped to ensure that this mausoleum is one place of recollection and inspiration for future generations. I send my sincere thanks to our distinguished guests from all over Africa and the rest of the world. And without being exhaustive, I welcome the presence of the heads of government. My brother, Son Excellence, Ousmane Sanko, First Minister of the Republic of Senegal. My brother, the First Minister, Son Excellence, Alamai Alina, First Minister of Chad. Members of the government of friendly countries, in particular the minister heads of delegation of Niger, of Mali, of Ghana, and all other friendly countries, of those responsible, of Pan-African movement, diplomatic delegations and Soviet partners, of the cause of the peoples, and all the friends who came to honor the memory of the father of the revolution. Your presence here is an act of solidarity and pride, shared because Thomas Sankara does not belong only to Burkina Faso, but to all of Africa and fighting humanity. Heir to his fight, we measure the responsibility that is ours. In this troubled time when the geckos of history call the struggle he led to the supreme sacrifice for freedom and sovereignty, I keep the conviction that our revolution will be worthy of the ideal of President Thomas Sankara, and that together we will meet this challenge of our generation. It's the only way for us to live free, and live with dignity. Long live the memory of President Thomas Sankara and his companions. Long live free and authentic Burkina Faso. Long live the popular progressive revolution. Fatherland or death will overcome us. Country or death. Country or death. I thank you, dear comrades. End of quote.
Mesdames, Messieurs, c'était les 21 coups de canon
Channels, just after the speech, official, of inauguration of His Excellency Mr. President of Faso, Head of State, delivered by His Excellency Mr. Prime Minister, Head of the Government. Since the hour instantly, the evil forces have begun to pack their bags. After hearing the 7-3 shots of cannon, the 21 shots of cannon, thank you for a standing ovation for our fighting forces who are engaged at the front. Elda, for the synthesis of the official discourse. Ladies and gentlemen, we just heard the 21 cannon shots, which are followed the official inaugural address of His Excellency, the President of Faso Head of State, delivered by His Excellency, the Prime Minister, Chief of Government, he declared that the enemies are crawling, definitely to defeat, and he asked to all the audience to give a standing ovation to the National Forces of Defense enlisted, on behalf of His Excellency, the President of Federal State, that this day of May, the 17th, 2025, Issoir reminds us all that 42 years ago the same day, in 1983, imperialist and neo-colonialist forces orchestrated the arrest of Comrade Captain Thomas Sankara, then Prime Minister Shen. In this days that followed, young anti-imperialist fighters mobilized to say no to this criminal act. The seeds of the people's democratic revolution had thus been sown. 2 weeks later, Captain Thomas Sankara was released under popular pressure, and 3 months later, from this fertile soil, nourished by the people's profound aspiration for freedom, the revolution germinated. This May, the 17th, 2025, is therefore a symbol for the refusal of imperialist domination, neocolonialism, and their avatars' war and terrorism. It is also one symbol of our people, determination to face their destiny, and to build one free and sovereign nation. This ideal was carried forward by our predecessors. Under the PDR, the People's Democratic Revolution, led by the comrade Captain Thomas Sankara, and today we carry this torch of anti-imperialism, struggle with the progressive People's Revolution. This May the 17th, we honor our duty to remember the inaugurating. By inaugurating the mausoleum dedicated to the President, Noel Isidore Thomas Sankara and his comrades in struggle, who fell for the beloved homeland under the murderous bullets of imperialism, local henchmen and arch-chair Negroes, who fell for the ideals of dignity, freedom, integrity, and sovereignty, fallen, but forever alive in our hearts and minds. The choice of this date is no accident and recalls the commitment of peace fighters in Burkina Faso and around the world. It is not then a reunion of sad memorial, but it is to celebrate the heroism of those who fought for the integrity of the nation. This mausoleum marks the start of the major Thomas Sankara Memorial Project, which will be built over an area of around 14 hectares, along with many other infrastructures. The Thomas Sankara Memorial is conceived not only as a place of remembrance, but also as a place, one space for reflection and education, inspiration and action. Its vocation is to keep the torch of the revolution and to remind the world of Thomas Sankara's fight to break the chains of slavery and imperial domination and to emerge from oppression. This project is intended to be Pan-African and popular because Thomas Sankara himself was a global icon. He therefore invites everyone to make the contribution to the memorial. He decided on this occasion special to name streets after the 12 companions of the President Thomas Sankara. He congratulated the committee, the International Committee, and despite the difficulties inherent in revolutionary commitment, they have remained worthy and active in perpetuating the ideals of the father of the August Revolution. He praised the determination of the elder companions who have remained faithful because of the civil society of organizations and all Pan-African activist patriots here and abroad. He could not pass in silence the immense efforts and priceless comrades from different countries around the world who have contributed to the success of this international committee given to the Thomas Sankara Memorial. He saluted all the coordination of the Noel Isidore Thomas Sankara Memorial Infrastructure Construction Project, the architects, the engineers, workers, artists, volunteers, and builders of the collective memory who have contributed to making this mausoleum a place of recollection and inspiration for future generations. He thanked all the distinguished guests from all over Africa and the rest of the world. He mentioned that their presence is an act of solidarity and shared pride because Thomas Sankara belongs not only to Burkina Faso but to the whole of Africa and to fighting for humanity. As there is of this struggle, he said that we are all aware of the responsibility we bear in these times of crisis. He finished his speech by wishing a long life to a free and sovereign Burkina Faso, a long life to the people's progressive revolution. I thank you all once more for your kind attention. Ladies and gentlemen, you who have just taken us on the road, you follow live on the RTB the official inauguration ceremony of the mosque of President Thomas Sankara and his 12 companions. His Excellency Dr. Traoré, President of Faso, head of state, decided, as he said so well in his speech, to name the streets after each of the 12 companions, fell with Comrade President Thomas Sankara. Ladies and gentlemen, for the reading of the Stop Street Baptism, I will invite once more Mr. Maurice Kanai, Chairman of the Special Delegation of the Commune of Ouagadougou. Excellence, during the Prime Minister, with your permission, I would like. He arrests them from the 12 companions of Dr. Thomas Sankara, but before, I would like to wear to the knowledge of the assistants that tomorrow, from of 8 hours, there will be the inauguration of the avenue in the name of his companion, the faithful friend of Thomas Sankara, the John Jerome Rolex chocolate. It will be to the museum. So all those who are enthusiasts of the revolution are prayed to, entitled to do us this honor, especially to honor the strong Gabonese delegation that came for this circumstance. Thank you, Excellence. So stop N097-2025, Commune of Ouagadougou, Town Hall Cabinet, assigning a name to a neighbor of the Commune of Ouagadougou, the President of the Special Delegation of the Commune of Ouagadougou, given the Constitution of 0206, mil-ne-uf-cent-quatre-ving, having regard to letter N-O-N-Z-E, hyphen mil-quatre-cent-crane. NC4 is from the Ministry of Communication already, a tourism from 1507-2024. To mention the Minister of State, Minister of Communication of Culture, and already tourism prepared by the government in its time. So it's the first minister, of course current. Here's who it seized us to say that he wanted. Who on the government instruction that we find, and to Kazde, names to streets in the name of the 12 companions of Thomas Sankara. So considering this necessity stops. Article 1. Urban roadway 6 to Sector 23 in the 5th borough. Starting at North by Boulevard Istin Nul Thomas Sankara, President of Faso, mil-NEUF-NEUF-NEUF-NEUF-VINGT, and named Avenue Babo Poland Bamuni. The name came. Babu Poland Bamuni was adopted to honor. Made Babu Poland Bamuni. Born in mil-NEUF-cent-CINQ, companions of misfortunate Dr. Istin Nul Thomas Sankara, murdered on 15/10 mil-NEUF-cent-. This decision of the Special Delegation of the Commune of Badu responds to one will to make enter Fire Babalin Bamuni, man of culture and letters, and director of the Turkish press. of February mil-EUF-cent-QU died in the pants of the political history of our country 6 to its, alongside President Thomas Sankara, elevated to the rank of national hero. This order, which addresses any previous provision opposite, will thus be published and communicated wherever necessary. Excellent. With your authorization, I will save visas. To go one little faster. Stop N077-2025. Commune of Ouagadougou Town Hall Cabinet bearing. Assignment of a name to one varies. Of the Commune of Ouagadougou. The President of the Special Address. Of the Commune of Ouagadougou. Having regard to the Constitution. Stops. The urban roadway previously identified by N5001. 6 to Sector 50 and Highway No 11 beginner, to the north by Street 5002 and ending to the south by Street 50-Cent-Corane is called Genwaga Street Frederick Kemd. The denial of the street Ganuga Frederick MD has been adopted to pay tribute to the late Ganuga MD, born in mil-EUF-cent and the number of the college's childhood companions. Isidore Christmas Thomas Sankara, murdered on 15/10 mil-EUF-cent. This denunciation of the special delegation responds to one will to bring in fire Ganua Freddy Kimt, legal advisor to the President of Faso, in the pants of the political history of our countries, alongside President Isidore Newell Thomas Sankara, elevated to the rank of national hero. This bylaw, which deals with any internal provision opposite, will be published and communicated by where all needed will be. Stop N082-2025. Commune de Gou Town Hall Cabinet bearing assignment. From one name to one urban car in the Commune of Gou, the chairman of the delegation, special of the Commune of Ouagadougou in view of the construction. From 0206 mil-NEUF-cent-QUATRE-VINGT. Article 1 ruling. The urban route previously identified by N15. Point 336. 6 to Sector 51 in the 71. Starting in the west on Tansilba Kaima Boulevard and ending on the east by Street 50.101, is called Walalai Ouagadougou Street. The name Walalai Ouagadougou Street was adopted to honor to late Walalai Ouagadougou, born in mil-EUF and in the name of fellow sufferers by Dr. Ismail Newell Thomas Sankara, murdered on 15/10 mil-NEUF. This decision of the special delegation responds to one will to do between Fire Walalai and Ouagadougou, soldier first class of the National Armed Forces, in the pants of political history of our country, alongside President Thomas Sankara. TV as a national euro on. This order, which addresses any provision previous contrary, will be recorded and communicated wherever necessary. Order No. 079 Indent du mil-25. Commune of Ouagadougou Town Hall Cabinet bearing assignment of a name to one way of the Commune of Ouagadougou, the President of the adulation special of the Commune of Ouagadougou, having regard to the Constitution of the 6th of February 2000 Article 1 ruling the previously urban roadway identified by N54.75 6 to Sector 54 and Highway No 12, starting in the north with the Avenue Gerard Kango or Drago and ending to the south by the Castle Street and named Street Nufu Ouagadougou. The name Street Nufu Ouagadougou was adopted with a view to making the late Nufu Ouagadougou, born in mil-and in the name of the ship's fellow sufferers, Newell Thomas Sankara, murdered on 15/10 mil-NEUF. This decision of the special membership responds to one will to bring in fire Nufu Ouagadougou, soldier first class of the National Armed Forces, in the pantheon of our country's political history, alongside President Thomas Sankara, elevated to the rank of national hero. This order, which addresses any previous provision opposite, will be recorded and communicated wherever necessary. Order N074-2025 Commune of Ouagadougou Town Hall Cabinet bearing assignment of a name to one car of the Commune of Ouagadougou, the President of the Interaction Special of the Commune of Ouagadougou in Constitution of 0206-MIL-NEUF
Article 1 ruling
QUATR
Urban
roads previously identified by N54.55 6 to Sector 54 in Highway No 12, starting in the north with the Rue de la Cour Suprema and ending to the south by the Avenue Pascal Zager, is called Rue Emmanuel Badalono. Article 2. The name street. Emmanuel Bacheneau was adopted to pay tribute to the late Emmanuel Bacheneau, born in Mil-N and in the name of the ship's fellow sufferers is Daniel Thomas Sankara, murdered on 1510 Mil-NEUF. This decision of the special delegation responds to one will of fire between the late Emmanuel Chief Sergeant of the National Armed Forces Secretary at the Ministry of State in the pants of the political history of our country, alongside President Thomas Sankara, elevated to the rank of national hero. This order, which addresses any provision previous contrary, will be registered, published, and communicated wherever needed. Will be Stop N075 bar. 2025 Commune of Ouagadougou Town Hall Cabinet bearing assignment of a name, one city car from the Commune of Ouagadougou, the President of the Special Delegation of the Commune of Ouagadougou, construction of 0206 Mil-NEUF-Cent-QUATRE
Article 1 Urban road
currently identified by N54.60 6 to Sector 54 in version 12, starting in the west by Quebec Street and ending in the east with the Street of Dialogue, is called Abdallah Street Gem. Article 2. Denial on Abdoulaye Street Gem was adopted to honor the late Abdoulaye Gem, born in Mil-NEUF, and on behalf of opinions and misfortune of Dr. Isdin Sankara, murdered on 1510 Mil-NEUF. This decision of the special membership responds to one desire to bring in the fire Abdoulaye Gem, military rank piss civilian, in the pants of history. Policy of our country, alongside the President Thomas Sankara, elevated to the rank of national hero the President. Article 3. The President arrested any previous provision to the contrary will be registered and communicated wherever necessary. Stop N081-2-Mil-VINGT-5 assigning a nucleus Town Hall Cabinet. The President of the Special Delegation of the Commune of Ouagadougou, given the Constitution from 0206 Mil-NEUF-Cent Article 1 Urban roads previously identified by N24.99 6 to Sector 24 and Highway No 5, starting in the north on Korakora Street and ending south with Tansilva Boulevard, Remo, named Rue der Jean André Sonda. Article 2. The determination of the Rue der Jean André Sonda was adopted to honor the late of Air Jean André Sonda, born on 204 Mil-NEUF-Cent of the fortunes of the Captain Thomas Sankara and the murder on 1510 Mil-NEUF. This decision of the special management responds to one desire to fire from Oshang André Probe, driver of present-day Faso, in the pants of political history of our country, alongside President Thomas Sankara, elevated to the rank of national hero. Article 3. The present order that addresses any entry and entry provisions will be recorded and communicated wherever necessary. Stop N080-2025 Commune of Ouagadougou Town Hall Cabinet assigning a Black 1 urban roadway of the Commune of Ouagadougou, President of the Delegation of the Commune of Ouagadougou, given the Constitution of 0206 NEUF-Cent-QUATRE the previously urban roadway identified by N51.2 is located in Sector 51 and Purchase N11, starting in the north with 51 Point Street 360 and ending south with the avenue. Sodegui Koyate is called Avenue Ralwin Staba. Article 2. The upcoming appointment. Harry Wendy Christophe Saba was adopted to pay tribute to the late Harry Potter Saba, born in Mil-NEUF, is one of the companions of misfortune by Dr. Isidore Newell Thomas Sankara, murder on 1510 Mil-NEUF. This decision of the special declaration responds to one desire to set fire. Ralwin Saba, assistant of the forces, National Army and Secretariat Permanent of the National Council of the Revolution in the pantheon of the political history of our country, alongside the President Thomas Sankara elevated to the rank of national hero. Article 3. The president arrested who approaches. Any previous provision to the contrary will be registered, published, and communicated wherever necessary. Order NZE -O-IX Commune of Ouagadougou Town Hall Cabinet Bearing assignment of a name to one car of the Commune of Ouagadougou, the chairman of the delegation special of the Commune of Ouagadougou, having regard to the Constitution from 0206-NEUF-CENT Article 1 Urban Roads previously identified by N51 point Sensing Continent 6 to Sector 51 in the former beginning No 11 to the north by Buradora Street and ending to the south by the Street 51.360 is called Comparative Avenue. Article 2 Denial Future was adopted to honor the late. Comparative method born on 1509 mil-EUF-CENT-US of the College makeshift Isidore Christmas Thomas Sankara, murdered on 1510 mil-NEUF. This decision of the special delegation to one desire to enter fire compared. Head of the Department of Political Affairs in the presence of Faso in the pantheon of the political history of our country, alongside President Thomas Sankara, elevated to the rank of national. Article 3. This order, which addresses any previous provision, otherwise will be recorded, published, and communicated wherever necessary. Stop N. 0 Carving du Milving Commune of Ouagadougou Paris Cabinet Bearing assignment of a name to one varied from the Commune of the President of the Special Direction of the Community of Ouagadougou Constitution of 0206 Article 1 ruling urban variety at present identified by N43 point Sankara Venkators 6 to Sector 43 and Highway No. 10 starting in the north with Avenue Bendago and ending south with Street 44.122 is called Avenue Sabiri Patri Zagar. Article 2 The name Avenue Sabiri Patrice Zagar was adopted to honor with Fire Sabiri Patrice Zagar, born in Mil-N EU and in the name of the ship's fellow sufferers Isidore Christmas Thomas Sankara, murdered on 1510 Mil-NEUF. This decision of the special unit responds to one desire to bring in fire aggregate Patrice, philosophy assistant at the University of Ouagadougou in the pants of the political history of our country, alongside President Thomas Sankara, elevated to the rank of national hero. Article 3 The President, order that addresses any provision previous contrary will be instructed, published, and communicated wherever necessary. Stop N067-do-nil-VINGT-sync assigning a name to one Town Hall Cabinet of the Commune of Ouagadougou, the President of the Administration Special of the Commune of Ouagadougou, given the Constitution of 0206 Mil-NEUF-CENT-QUATRE Article 1 Urban Roads identified by N54.45. Follows to Sector 54 an announcement N12 starting in the north with Avenue Bilal, Charles Cabaret and ending in the south by the street of the Supreme Court is named Rue Amadou, Saturday. Article 2 Rice Determination Amadou Savadogo was adopted to honor to the late Amadou Savadogo, born on 1006 Mil-NEUF-CENT, companions of misfortune, distinct Christmas Thomas Sankara College, murdered on 1510 Mil-NEUF. This decision of the special delegation responds to one will to make between the late Amadou Savadogo. He is one head of the National Armed Forces in the pants of the political history of our country, alongside President Thomas Sankara, elevated to the rank of national hero. Article 3 The President, order addressing any previous provision to the contrary will be recorded and communicated wherever necessary. Stop N0732 and named Avenue Partnership Smiled. Article 2 La, name future partnership with No, was adopted to honor. Partnership would be born on 1003. Mil-NEUF and in the name of the ship's fellow sufferers, Isidore Christmas Thomas Sankara, murder on 1510 Mil-NEUF-CENT. This decision of the special adjudication to one will to make between fire partially sore, under National Gendarmerie and Parachute Officer, in the pants of the political history of our country next to of President Thomas Sankara elevated to the rank of national hero. Article 3. The president in office who addresses any prior provision opposite will be recorded and communicated wherever necessary. Excellence during the Prime Minister. I have just started, I thank you. Thank you very much to Mr. President of the special delegation of the Commune of Ouagadougou, ladies and gentlemen, for the presentation of the allegiances of street baptisms and street signs. Invite us. Penguin Shilbert Ouedraogo, Minister of Communication, de la Culture des Arts and Tourism, spokesperson for the government of Burkina Faso. Ladies and gentlemen, you follow the delivery of baptismal orders of street to the families of the Comrade President's companions, Thomas Sankara. In addition to the various stops, there are also street signs. Ladies and gentlemen, just after the inauguration, the mosque is open to the public tomorrow at the first hour. The National Organizing Committee brings to your attention that the evening exchange on the overall presentation of the Thomas Sankara Memorial initially planned at the Central Town Hall of Ouagadougou will now take place at the Banquet Hall of Ouaga 2000 at 20:00. Arrival deadline 7:30 p.m. at the Hall of the banquets of Ouagadougou 2000 and not at the central town hall. Ouagadougou. Thank you very much. To mention the Minister de la Communication, de la Culture, Arts and Tourism spokesperson of the government, representatives of different families can return to their location. Thank you very much. Excellencies, gentlemen, Prime Ministers, let us greet and recognize the presence of a strong delegation of the Republic Free of Haiti, present here in Ouagadougou. Eminent personality, ladies and gentlemen, in 2022, he received in London the almost considered award as the newest in the architecture. It becomes the first. Welcome to receive this award. He distinguished himself thanks to his buildings, ecologically sustainable, taking into account practices, traditional African. Ladies and gentlemen, he is the prime contractor of all the different memorial infrastructure, including the mosaic that will be inaugurated in a few moments. I'm talking about the architect, international, Debato Francis Quiret. Among us tonight, ladies and gentlemen, he will stand up. Well, thank you very much. Slowly but surely we are heading towards the end of this ceremony. The other acts, ladies and gentlemen, it is the cut of the ribbon, the deposit of the sheaf, the recollection, the visit, guided sight, family photos and interviews. And here is the composition of the personalities who will have access to, at the side of their Excellence Mr. Prime Ministers, the ministers representing Their Excellence the Presidents of the Republic of Niger, of the Republic of Ghana and the Republic of Mali. The place is the first Vice President representing Son Excellent Mr. President of the Assembly, Burkina Faso's transitional legislation. Ladies and gentlemen of the institution presidents, ladies and gentlemen, members of the government of Burkina Faso, the ministers of the invited countries, Mr. Chief of Staff, of His Excellence Mr. President of Faso, Head of State, Mr. Head of State, Major General of the Armies, His Excellency Apollinaire, Joachim Kilimand of Tambela, former Prime Minister of Burkina Faso, Mr. Chief of Staff of His Excellence Mr. Prime Minister, Head of Government, Their Excellence, ladies and gentlemen, the program leaders, diplomatic and consular, Mr. Governor of the Central Region, Mr. Chairman of the Delegation, Special of the Commune of Ouagadougou, Mr. President of the National Committee. Organization summarizes the President of the SIMS, the representatives of the Sankara family and its 12 companions, and the Honorable Zenato. Excellence Mr. Prime Minister now places at the cut of the tape. Ladies and gentlemen, in this time you are following on the different screens the VTR, which presents the model of the mausoleum. Photographer and cameraman are asked to respect the instructions of the Primacy Communication Department. Only the authorities that have been cited have access at the memorial for the rest of the ceremony. Ladies and gentlemen, those who have not been mentioned, please stay put. Please. Ladies and gentlemen, the Thomas Sankara Memorial International Committee would like to inform each and everyone, all guests and expected attendees at the exchange meeting, on the Memorial Global Project presentation, which was previously to be held at the City Hall, is now relocated to the Ouagadougou Mill Gala venue. This evening at 8 p.m., you are all expected to arrive. At 7:30 p.m. limit, thank you very much. I remind you that after the visit of Their Excellence, concerning the First Minister, there will be one other visit for the personalities who have not been mentioned. Thank you very much. Ladies and gentlemen, you who have just taken us, on you, follow love on RTV, the ribbon cutting, marking the official opening of the wheelbarrow of President Thomas Sankara and his 12 companions, 3 prime ministers, the First Minister, Burkina Faso Rental Emmanuel Ouagadougou, also the Prime Minister of the Republic of Senegal, Sonko, and the Prime Minister of the Republic of Kayet, therefore accompanied. So, members of the government of Burkina Faso, from Chad to Niger, from Mali, and then Senegal. So at the moment while you follow, I was going to say, in any case, the unveiling of the mausoleum. To mention Thomas Sankara and the 12 of his companions. So it must be said that before that, we also followed the reading of the orders, and which give the right, from street baptism to name, therefore, of his 12 companions of the ship Thomas Sankara, and his 12 companions you already know. It is therefore a question of Air Samda he drove Sankara the day of the There was also Saba, captain of the army, and permanent secretary of the CNR. There is also Babu Polan Babouni, director of the Turkish press, patiently saved this gendarme, who had returned to hand over one letter, who fell in any case in the incident, and who also lost his life. Wally Ouagadougou, soldier first class. Emmanuel Badiono, some chef you have. Good adventure compared to him he was. So to the president of Faso Sipri, Patrice Agrej, university professor. We crazy Savadogo soldiers first class. A mate Savadogo staff. We have Frederick Kind, he was also, and advised at the level of the CNR. And we have the soldier of first class Abdoulaye Guillaume. And all these 12 victims will now have their name that will turn on UH signs at 12th Avenue that have been cited here by the president of the special delegation of the Ouagadougou. We also followed the speeches. The Prime Minister's speech will be noted. We will remember that here, in any case, the Mausoleum, where the Thomas Sankara Memorial, UA will be one place of remembrance, one space for reflection on education and concrete action, but it is also one place to keep the flame of the revolution, one place also Pan-Africanism, and one place in any case to recharge your batteries. To recharge their batteries with the ideas Thomas Sankara, the father of the revolution in August. Mil-NEUF-Sent-QU. Currently it is the visit at the level of the mausoleum that is open to the authorities present here for this ceremony. And to Lucy, so of the visit there will be. Thus writes it in the book. Condolences in the condolence book, and then this. So it will be interviews with journalists, but in the meantime we will greet all these people from all over the world. So there is the whole of Africa. There are also many countries from the rest of the world here. The 13 families were represented. The 13 families, the Sankara family. There are also families of 12 companions by Thomas Sankara, and all families were represented this afternoon here at this ceremony of inauguration of the Mausoleum. The Thomas Sankara Mausoleum. 12 of his companions fell on the killer bullets. 115/10 Mil-NEUF-Sent-QU. The concert of the agreement that today is called the Memorial. Thomas Sankara, and for the moment, the first offense that has been proclaimed. It is well the mosaic you saw it right behind us anyway. One design really nice to look at. And who else we can dare to say? And which is up to the dimension of the disappeared church of his companions, and at the same time we will receive live from then on. The Thomas Sankara Memorial, a Luna Traoré that we will never stop presenting. He is here, he is the so. Of the events of 1510s Mil-and EUF-Sent, who made many testimonies left here in tears to sept. So, what is the feeling you have today? One sentiment, D. Of legitimate pride. Because the generations present are grateful for what we had done. It is one rather palpitating testimony. The example of a copy of bravo and dignity that must be had. History's put us on the right side, and it is in his honor. Today the Mozart is made to show the generations. The visit, yes, that's why we put the picture. They will slow down there. Come here on 1510s Mil-and
Ladies and gentlemen,
for this live from the Thomas Sankara Memorial sept. My brother, please. Please. Forced to kill people there, please. My brother, please. We move forward. I don't feel unhere, we move forward. We don't have to go out. We must be here. We have to be here. We are live. We are live. We must not go out. We are live. Advance. So here's to for this ceremony, the inauguration of the mausoleum, Thomas Sankara and his fellow sufferers. From 1510s Mil-and EUF-Sent, one ceremony marked by TRE-VINGT-, also the Inauguration Act. There were also the decrees appointing street baptism on behalf of the 12 companions of Dr. Thomas Sankara. Back on this set for the rest of the debate. And I am always with my guests, so the 17 may stay a one-date doubly. Historical hum in the contemporary history of Burkina Faso and Cameroon Yachinth Ouagadougou. Yes, indeed. May 17th is a historical date. And it was already so since May 17th. Nil-N UF-Sent-Q-UH-DRE-VINGT. I was going to say clarification, as we had. So it's stated, President Jean-Mathieu Ouagadougou, because May 17th, as we know, Nil-N UF-Sent-Q-UATRE-VINGT, which thus marked the end of CSP1 and the passage to CSP2. And Thomas Sankara, who was Prime Minister, was dismissed. The do of governance in the CSP. And the President Jean-Mathieu Ouagadougou was obliged to make one announcement.